Mario Kart World, but it's been primarily with my family. I've played by myself like 3 or 4 times, and online like 2 times. But I mostly just played with my son and my wife and my daughter on this game. And then we also went to Best Buy, and there was a game truck there. And I actually have pictures. I won't show them on stream right now because I don't have that set up at the moment. But we went to the game truck, and I won a coin, a Switch 2 Best Buy coin with like Switch 2, and it said like 25 or 2025 or something like that. It's like a commemorative coin of the launch, and the only reason I won it was because I actually won the Mario Kart race against other people, but I didn't win the first round. I had to play again, and I won the second round, and the only reason I won the second round was because my family backed me up. So my wife and my son backed me up, and then I won the second round because my wife was behind the person that was trying to take me out, throwing red shells at them. And I got, out of the 3 races, I finally got first place, and I won the coin. They also gave us some cool tote bags. They're just like those cheap, like grocery store tote bag things that are reusable. But they say Nintendo Switch 2 on them, and they're kind of useful, and they're kind of cool, and we were happy to get them. And they gave us like these stick-on patches that are like Mario characters that are super cool, as well as some stickers. So it was a pretty awesome experience. Oh, and some mini posters. So even though we have the Mario Kart World experience, it was cool to be able to go to the game truck and play around there and have some fun. So yeah, I've been shifting the direction of the YouTube channel. It just became something where, like, if I wanted to continue with the way I wanted to do things, I needed to change direction. I might go back to doing more live streams if I get better equipment. I would like to be able to share the quality of the Nintendo Switch 2 in its full glory. We're able to share it partially here. This is pretty good. But I'd like a better encoder, and I would like to be able to show you guys HDR 4K gameplay over YouTube, or at least 1440p. It doesn't have to be 4K. So it would be cool to eventually get a better capture card. And right now, that's just not financially feasible, but hopefully in the future it will be, for me. Little by little, I'll upgrade stuff. I was also thinking about upgrading my internet router, because that Nintendo Switch 2 supports that Wi-Fi 6. Am I ever going to join a race? Dude, like, this is crazy. I swear I did just like 6 races in the open world already. Why does it take so long to join a race? I mean, I'm having a good time, so I shouldn't be complaining. I'm enjoying talking to you guys. And this is actually kind of a relaxing way to do it. But man, like, I don't know. It's kind of weird. I'll take that. Oh yeah. Star power. So speaking of the Nintendo Switch 2, it's been amazing. It's blown away all my expectations. Straight out of the water. Right from the launch. So there's this game. I mean, this game's really cool. I actually haven't played this game very much in standard dynamic range, which is what we're doing right now. I've mostly played this game in high dynamic range. But even with standard dynamic range over full RGB, you're getting quite a lot of color depth, at least on my monitor here. And this is just at 1080p. Normally I play this game at I think it runs at 1440p. Maybe it's 4K, I don't know. But yeah, normally I play that, well, on this monitor, the monitor is 1440p, but it can accept 4K. So it's been amazing. So the Switch 2 supports 1440p output. It supports Bluetooth audio, and of course the convenient wired audio on the controller in the system. But it supports newer Bluetooth audio standards, where if you have the latest kind of Bluetooth technologies and you connect to it, it sounds pretty good. Like, I have some Bluetooth earbuds that are from JLab that have the latest technologies in them, And when I connect either my JLab Epic Lab Edition or my JLab JBuds Pods to the Switch 2, the virtual surround sound actually works with the little earbuds. And they have a spatial sound feature on the JLab earbuds, but you don't even need to turn that on because the virtual surround sound is being computed by the Switch itself. It's doing its own virtual surround sound through the stereo audio. And it's using the surround sound channels, at least when you're in handheld mode or docked, when it can, for the headset. I've tested this. I could show you guys too. And it's super awesome. The way it connects to HDMI, supporting 1440p, 120 frames per second on my monitor, or say my TV, or doing 4K on the TV with the HDR, and the monitor even does HDR, which when I tried to do HDR from my laptop to my monitor, it always looked like really bad for video games. I mean, maybe I just didn't play the right game. Maybe it was that laptop that I had that I was struggling with the color stuff on. I mean, I was struggling with sound and color stuff on that laptop, even though we made really good content on it. And I'm actually glad I sold it. I mean, it was kind of a setback for the channel because I do need to get a better Windows computer eventually. But man, it was kind of a headache, honestly. And I kept trying to fix it up and do all this stuff, and I really shouldn't have had to do that much stuff. I'm grateful for the learning experience, and I'm grateful for, you know, what I was able to do and being able to connect to all of you through that. But I do want to improve the quality. Anyways, what was I talking about? HDMI. Oh yeah, so the HDMI features support my TV and my monitor perfectly. Not that the first Switch didn't, but it didn't support all the resolutions. And then it's got those modern HDMI features where it's got the auto low latency modes, and it just communicates with the devices differently. So it's just a really impressive piece of hardware all around. There is some controversy surrounding the Switch 2 and screen blur. I should probably be focusing on the race more, but I'm more interested in talking to you guys. I should probably read the comments too. Hey, Danny G showed up. And my tablet turned off, which was the less than ideal way to view, darn it, to view the comments anyways. Ah! There we go. What does it say? Danny G, hey, hey! What was I talking about? Yeah, it was a pretty sweet Mario Kart victory. Thanks, Ross. Welcome to the stream, Danny G Gaming. For those of you that don't know, Danny G also live streams and makes content. Okay, I did not do so good that round. That's okay. I'd like to continue focus on what I was talking about anyways. Yeah, it's just so cool technologically. Even the screen blur thing, I kind of see what they're talking about, and it's mostly in Switch 1 games. Maybe this happens in Switch 2 games. It happens in the menus too, and it happens in the menus on purpose. So sometimes when they're doing these tests for the Switch 2 screen blur, they're not doing fair tests, in my opinion. They're like doing controversial tests. I don't think I've seen anybody do in-depth enough testing yet. I do believe that it does not have as fast of a response rate as, say, an OLED TV or the Switch OLED or my monitor here even, you know, because this is in low latency mode. But from what I've noticed, I only see blur in situations where it's a Switch 1 game being upscaled, like the pixels like are going over a little bit. And also, I noticed when I tried to film with my camera, and again, I don't have a really high-speed camera, so other people, you know, their data, I'm not invalidating their data. I mean, they did their experiments, they came to their own conclusions, but I'll get to that more in a minute. But when I filmed it with my camera, just using my camera at different shutter speeds introduced different levels of frame persistence and blur that I couldn't see with my naked eye at all. And I could only see it when I slowed down the video footage, and it almost seemed like digital artifacting, if I'm being honest with you. When I tried to look at what it was doing with my naked eye, I literally did not see this blur. Now, does that mean it wasn't there? No, that doesn't mean it wasn't there, but I couldn't see it. So I'd like to elaborate more on this too, because I was almost going to make a whole video on this. I just haven't gotten done with the poll yet. Actually, the poll should be wrapping up today. So I released a poll on Reddit, which I'll probably throw into the description of this video later. I released a poll. If anybody would like to join me for multiplayer, feel free to just like game chat, invite me, or add me to your friends list or whatever, or we'll set up a tournament. I don't know how it works. and we can race together. I was planning on playing other games too. But back to the topic at hand, which was oh man, now my mind's drawing a blank. What was I just talking about? Switch 2. Switch 2 is awesome. It's so cool. Nintendo made this. Oh, I did a Reddit post. It was a poll on Reddit because I figured what better place to ask Nintendo Switch 2 owners than the Nintendo Switch 2 subreddit. And they answered. My poll was not very good. I probably should have titled the responses more seriously instead of being a little bit silly with it. Because I'm a little bit silly sometimes, especially when it comes to gaming and YouTube. Not so much professionally, like at my job. I mean, sometimes I am, but... what was I saying? Oh, anyways, so the blur thing. I posted a poll on Reddit asking users what they thought about this scenario. And actually, I watched a video, too, where one user tested his, and his didn't come out as bad as all these other tests that they'd seen. And his millisecond timing seemed pretty accurate. And it came down to that there could be a little, like 1 millisecond of frame persistence, because the milliseconds of timing that the frames are refreshing is exactly as whatever the output of the content is. So if it's, how do I put this? If it's, for example, my live stream right now, we render each frame in about 2 to 3 milliseconds, or else it would get blurry and laggy and the encoder would get overloaded. Because it's a hardware encoder, so it's rendering it extremely fast in like low milliseconds. If you take too long to render a frame, you won't be able to get a 60 frames per second image. And so what I mean by that is the 16 point whatever or 33 point whatever frame timing, the different frame timings that are necessary, it seems like the Switch 2 syncs to those frame timings for its internal screen update, and that might be the issue. I also think there might be a panel lottery, as some people's Nintendo Switch 2s were manufactured in the Philippines and some were manufactured in China. And who knows, there could be different panels that were used to manufacture the display. Or there could be a variation in quality of the panels, which is known to happen even if it's the same manufacturer. This thing happened on the DS, 3DS, DSi, Nintendo Switch, Nintendo Switch Lite, even my Nintendo Switch OLEDs. Between them, their screens are very similar, the colors are punchy on all of them, but the max peak brightness is actually just a little bit different between versions of systems. So I have like a Switch OLED that has more brightness than the other Switch OLED. Is it a big deal? No, it's a very slight deal, but it is noticeable, and I'm not the only one that can see it. And so, honestly, I find the screen to be pretty incredible. It's not OLED status. You know, it's not as crisp as my 1440p monitor. But for a handheld, and coming even from the OLED Switch, it's a DCI-3 color range. So even if you're playing an SDR, you're getting that DCI-3. It does support HDR. They're calling it pseudo HDR because it can't adjust its brightness in a way that, say, an OLED TV would. But I still think you're benefiting from that expanded color space. And I think Nintendo's using it in an intelligent way, and I think we'll see this be used more heavily in the future. Another thing I've seen people complain about too was the setting that auto-converts the games that aren't HDR to HDR. And I found this perfectly acceptable, and I enjoyed playing both ways. Some games actually I felt were enhanced by this auto HDR feature, and if it was detrimental, it was simple enough to turn off. This, combined with the adjustable resolutions, the improvements to certain games where some games just run at 1080p in handheld mode with no patch, because they ran at 1080p in handheld mode on the Switch 1, even though it only had a 720p screen. You've got stuff like Resident Evil 5 and 6 running at a full 60 frames per second, something that doesn't even happen on the PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X. So on PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X, not because they can't, they're perfectly capable of running it. It's just the games just don't. They just don't run. They're locked to 30. So on Nintendo Switch, you can actually play Resident Evil 5 and 6. And actually, I heard Revelations is like this too. But 5 and 6 are pretty impressive because they're full resolution. The resolution doesn't drop. So they're full resolution and frame rate on Switch 2. And this is without a patch. These are just the games as they are. There's a lot of examples of this, of performance improvements. Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition runs the same way, 1080p, 60 frames per second in handheld mode with no patch. Then you've got games that got free patches, like New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. While the assets themselves were not updated that much because it's not a paid patch, it's the same assets, the game itself is running at a full fat 4K 60 frames per second. That is impressive, especially for a free update. Then you've got games like Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom and Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, and those games run at 60 frames per second, pretty much locked now, as well as 1080p in handheld mode, and it was more than 1440p in docked mode from what Digital Foundry counted. It was up to 1800p. So you've got this little teeny handheld tablet that's pulling 22 watts to 25 watts to 10 watts variably in docked mode, and sometimes similarly in handheld mode, pulling the weight of these full home consoles. It's just a dream come true for somebody like me who's a big Nintendo fan, and I went big on the Switch. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. I went all in on it, and the backwards compatibility made it all worth it. Now, one thing that is a little bit frustrating at launch, and is also kind of awesome at launch, it's a double-sided coin, is it's hard to find the micro SD card expresses in large sizes, because the technology is so new. In fact, I think Nintendo had to wait for this technology to mature before they could even release the Switch 2. And so you've got these micro SD express cards that are basically like SSDs, and I swear to you that my Nintendo Switch transferred photos to my PC today, straight from the Switch, USB to the PC. It transferred my Switch album faster than the PC transferred it to a solid-state drive that's rated far higher than what the Switch 2 is capable of. That's impressive, and that has to do with other technologies involved as well. Something else I found pretty interesting about Switch 2, a lot of people are complaining about the game key cards. With good, reason. The game key cards kind of suck. It's kind of the same thing as those digital coupons in a box you'd get where the game's not even in there. But the upside to that is, let me explain part of the reason why that's happening. Part of the reason why there's even game key cards to begin with is because there's a limited amount of this same type of flash memory that's in those SD cards available for developers for Nintendo's game cartridges. Now going forward, they will eventually have more sizes and it will be more affordable, but because all of this technology is cutting edge for the first time, Nintendo's using somewhat cutting edge technology. I mean, yes, they've had this processor finalized since 2020 or 2021, but as far as the hardware and some of the technology that the hardware uses being consumer facing, it's pretty cutting edge in a lot of ways. The screen and the display output technology, a lot of factors at play here. There's even room for refinement, but I'll probably talk about that later. Where was I going with this? I just think they knocked it out of the park, guys. It's amazing all around. People are talking crap, and they can talk crap, but this is amazing. Like, even the people trying to nitpick flaws, like, talking about battery life, oh, the battery life's not great enough. If you play Switch 1 games on the Switch 2, the battery life is, like, a little bit worse than the OLED, but it's not that much worse, and it's a much bigger screen. And with much better quality features and audio, and much more comfortable to use Joy-Con controllers for people with large hands. Like, I love using Joy-Con controllers again, and my hands don't get cramped. My right hand has not been getting cramped when playing games. I thought the bigger system was going to be more of a problem. It's been a blessing. Sure, it's a little heavier to hold. It could be really uncomfortable to use upside down. I could see that being an issue for people. You might need to get like one of those little arm things. But as far as using it in my lap, just holding it even with the Joy-Cons attached, that's been perfectly fine because the screen is so large. Using it in tabletop mode is so easy because the kickstand is huge. It can even balance on my chest, and I have an awkward shaped chest, so like it's just amazing. It can balance on your steering wheel, which I'm going to upload a short about. I have a short uploaded, I just haven't made it available yet. Yeah, the back of the kickstand, because it's open, you can put it on your steering wheel in your car and just play there. It's that amazing. The other thing I wanted to touch upon... the HDR calibration. So I've seen a lot of criticism about the HDR calibration. And I tried following that HD TV test guy's advice on both of my monitors and my OLED TV, exactly what he said. And it looked okay. It looked okay, guys. And maybe he's right. Maybe that is accurate, but it just looked okay. And when I just followed Nintendo's thing, as long as I had HGIG on my TV and then the monitor, it didn't even matter. The HDR was perfect, just calibrating it the way Nintendo said to do it. So don't buy into all the hype all the time. A lot of controversial stuff. And I mean, I am kind of a Nintendo fanboy, but I mean, I'll criticize what needs to be criticized. This thing's just awesome. It's kind of expensive. It's pretty expensive hardware, but Nintendo gamers have been asking Nintendo to make something more premium for years. They keep saying, stop cheaping out on the power so that game developers will port all of their games to it. And you know what? I can honestly see that happening finally. The Nintendo Switch proved just how powerful this platform and Nintendo can be. It brought over a lot of developers that in the beginning said that's going to be a failed console. That thing's going to be doomed. And look, they all ended up posting their games and putting their games on the Nintendo Switch too. One by one. Alright, I'm going to quit playing this game and play a different game now. Even though Mario Kart World is fun, it's just too fast-paced and I need to slow down so I can read the comments. So let's load up something a little more chill and let's get back to reading the comments before I continue on talking about how amazing I love the Switch 2. I was talking about cartridges earlier. So yeah, they'll come out with more kinds of cartridges eventually. And the game key cards are at least a good alternative to those download key things that are just like basically a digital purchase in a box. But let's look at the upside. The games that are physical are pretty cool. You got Cyberpunk, which I don't think I am going to play Cyberpunk. It's just not my kind of game, personally. Maybe I will play it when it goes on sale and it's been fully patched. So I think the performance of that game will be refined over time. But from what I've seen of people actually like looking at the performance of the game, it performs great on Switch. The entire thing's on the cartridge. You've got games like Mario Kart where the entire thing's on the cartridge, but a lot of people will just get the digital version because it comes with the Switch. But at the same time, now Nintendo's got digital games library where you can share your digital games. That's kind of cool. Actually, instead of the Wind Waker, yeah, I'll load up the Wind Waker. What was I talking about cartridges? Oh, Rune Factory. This is the point I wanted to get to, past all the controversy. Rune Factory, Guardians of Azuma. I think there's other games like this too. It's a Switch 1 game and a Switch 2 game on the same cartridge. So I think it's just the Switch 1 game on the cartridge, but it's also like a game key card for the Switch 2. Or no, it's the Switch 1 game and Switch 2 game on the cartridge, fully on the cartridge, where some of these just have the Switch 1 game on the cartridge and you download the upgrade. Unfortunately, there's still a big download. It's a 12 gigabyte download for this game, but you can play it fully off the cartridge without the download. But the download, it does include the patch and some like a bunch of extra English dialogue. So it's sort of like the game's fully on the cartridge, but it's sort of not. So that is a full cartridge release, and I've played it on Switch 2 and Switch 1. It still makes you download some stuff on Switch 1 as well. Again, this was just because they wanted to make the game higher quality post-launch. You can still play it entirely off the cartridge. So it's kind of a mixed bag in that regard. It's still super cool, and it was a surprising game. I mean, I've been a fan of the Rune Factory and Story of Seasons series over the years, but they've definitely had their mixed share of quality in different regards. Oh, I gotta load the suspend point. And Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma has been my favorite Nintendo Switch 2 game so far. It is really cool to play Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom again in 4K, you know, 60 or whatever it is, 1440p, I don't know what it is. Crazy high resolutions and frame rate, it's awesome. Don't get me wrong, that is amazing, and they actually did add some asset lifting to that game. That's why you're paying for the patch, is because they did more than just unlock the resolution. If they're just unlocking the resolution, they're giving those updates usually for free. They did that with Splatoon. Splatoon 2 is now 60 frames per second. 4K native, or Splatoon 3. That makes me want to buy it. Like, I don't have Splatoon, I'm not going to buy it right now, but I'm seriously considering buying Splatoon 3. Especially if my wife gets one of these Switch 2s. We're going to have to get 2 copies of Splatoon 2, and we're going to have to play that online together, because that sounds amazing. Or Splatoon 3, I keep saying 2, because I never even played Splatoon 2. I've only played the demos here and there. So, it will be finally amazing to play. Instead of it being a 720p 60 game, it will be a 4K 60 game. That just sounds incredible. And then for the Pokemon fans, they finally got their game fixed. I mean, it still looks janky, like it doesn't have good enough art style, but at least the Pokemon themselves are populating the world, and the frame rate's updating in a way that's pleasing to the eye and not so jarring to look at. I don't expect perfect graphics anywhere, but that was just inexcusable to me. What else? What else? One thing that I do want to criticize Nintendo about, and I was expecting them to have ready at launch, and they don't, is the Nintendo Classics. So the Super Nintendo... Oh, I did the wrong one. The Nintendo 64, and obviously this, the GameCube Classics, are Nintendo Switch 2 native. But they have not updated the SNES, NES, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy, or any of those apps to be Switch 2 native. And that's frustrating because here you've got this higher resolution output capability for the scaling, which is important for integer scaling for these emulators, and it's kind of necessary for retro games to have accurate output. So it's getting scaled twice. It's getting scaled by the Switch 2's internal scaler, for better or worse, and it still looks perfectly fine. I mean, I played Super Metroid. It was freaking awesome yesterday. And the lower latency connection, that's another thing. The Switch 2 has way better hardware for Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, so when you connect Switch 2 controllers like the Switch 2 Joy-Cons or the Switch 2 Pro controller to the Switch 2, you're getting a much lower latency and solid connection to the gameplay than you were on the Switch 1. Now, they did fix this a little bit on the Switch OLED, but it's way better on Switch 2. Even my later Switch 2 Pro or Switch 1 Pro controllers, they work better with Switch 2 than they did with Switch 1. So that's pretty amazing. Plus, they've got that GameCube controller, which I should be using right now. I have the GameCube controller, guys. But for the sake of continuing the flow of the live stream, I'm going to keep going with the Joy-Cons. Plus, they're super comfortable. I'm laying on my bed. I've got the monitor here, and I got the Joy-Cons in a comfortable position. One arm's above my head on the pillow. The other arm's on my chest. And I'm just chilling. That's how cool Switch 2 is. But I digress. What was I talking about? Classics. So yeah, this is amazing. This GameCube emulator thing? Holy tamale. I wasn't expecting this to be this good either. This is so good. I can't wait for them to add more games. In fact, they're about to add more games today. Right? Yeah, they are going to add more games today. There's probably an update while I'm playing this that's going to go live, and we're going to get Super Mario Strikers. One thing I really want on this GameCube app is Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes. I'd love to see Eternal Darkness, Metal Gear Solid. I'd love to see Tales of Symphonia, the GameCube edition, at 60 FPS. I mean, I know I have the HD edition, but I'd love to see that. I'd love to see, even if they released HD versions of Metroid Prime 2 and 3, I'd love to see Metroid Prime 1 and 2, the GameCube versions on here. The other game, the biggest request that I have next to Metal Gear Solid, for me and for my son, what is dear and near to my heart, Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. If I ran Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 on these emulators, holy tamales. What an experience. Oh my god. I'm just giddy with the possibilities of the future. Nintendo is coy. They keep their cards close to their chest. They've only showed us what they want to show us. There is so much more. They've only just sent out dev kits to like third parties that need to update their games. So you're gonna see free patches from third-party developers eventually too for a lot of Switch 1 games. This is just a best case scenario all around, and it's just so cool, and I'm just bursting with joy to share it with you guys. And I'm sorry I'm ranting and just going on, but I gotta get all this out. And this is the best video to do it in. And listen to this music. Oh, I love Wind Waker. It's honestly The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker is one of my favorite Zelda games. It really is. It might even be my favorite Zelda game, along with A Link to the Past. And then, of course, Soul Calibur 2. Like, they just launched out the bat with some beasts. F-Zero GX, Wind Waker, and Soul Calibur 2. I mean, I've been asked, who cares about the other versions of Soul Calibur 2? Those are cool, too. They have other exclusive characters like Spawn. But come on, guys. You know it's all about Link. Soul Calibur 2 is such an amazing game. So people being able to play that is just like, that's just the chef's kiss. Speaking of better performing games, Story of Seasons: A Wonderful Life performs better. Rune Factory 5 ran like dog poop on the original Switch. Let's load this up real quick to show performance improvements on Switch 2. And I will load up some comments as well on my phone here. This ran like dog poop. It really did. Did not run well on the first Switch. On Switch 2, it's still like a little sketchy, but it runs great. All right, let's check out the chat. The chat. Hey, 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 keep up the great word, Nintendo Sense. Kids are on the pool, so it's a great time to watch some Nintendo Sense. Amazing timing. My G is here. Can you wheel up? What is he talking about? I'm holding out for a terabyte SD. I've got a 512 gigabyte SD and a 256, but I still need more storage. Danny G says Nintendo is the best. I struggle with the bigger system. Yeah, you kind of got to do tabletop mode, or like you got to work around it, or you got to like just hold it in your lap, or like lay down and play. I'm still keeping my Switch Lite around, guys. Okay, the Switch Lite is still useful. Yeah, the performance isn't as good as Switch 2, but I've got a Switch Lite Zelda edition, um, and that's still useful. Plus the game share option is pretty useful. Oh wait, I can't play this game right now because it's gonna play that copyright music, and I don't want to mute the audio. But I don't think Guardians of Azima will. So we should show off some Guardians of Azima. Or I could show off how fun it is to play Doom plus Doom 2 on Switch 2 because of the voice chat feature. That's tough. That's tough. Guardians of Azima or Doom. What do you guys want to see? What does the chat want to see? What do the viewers want to see? Now that I slowed down talking 50 miles a minute about everything under the sun. Let's see, all messages. Gotta go. Thanks, Ninsense. See you next time, Madden. Thanks for hanging out, Ross, and listening to me chat upside down. Inside out, upside down, flip me round. Alright, what's my audio sound like? Thought I slowed down talking. That sounds decent. Mario Odyssey. Okay, I'll play some Mario Odyssey. Yeah, Mario Odyssey runs better on Switch 2. We're not going to really see any benefit in my live stream because I'm only playing at 1080p right now. Due to the limitations of my capture card, I need a better capture card. But yes, I could load up Mario Odyssey. But what I was going to say, I don't need to load it up to say it. What was I talking about? Oh, the microphone. The microphone on the Switch 2 dock is amazing. It picks up your voice and gets rid of all the background noise. So you can play Switch 1 games that have voice chat built in with the microphone that's in the Switch 2. That's such a cool feature that Nintendo programmed in. So when I play online on Doom, and I've got this headset on and I'm talking to you guys through the headset, it still picks me up over there, and I could chat with the Doom people while playing or live streaming. And that works with any headset, like any way you're listening to it. So I even used my Bluetooth earbuds, and even though the Bluetooth earbuds microphone won't communicate with the Switch 2, I was able to listen to I was able to get the mic on the Switch to work. So this is the biggest example of improvement that they showed off was New Donk City. So instead of everything in the distance updating at a low frame rate, everything in the distance updates at a full 60 frames per second, and the street's super busy. I can't remember what they said the resolution of this one was, but it's like it's pretty close to 4K. It's not quite 4K, and it's a locked 60 frames per second without that weird interpolation mode that they had in handheld mode. So this is pretty cool. Pretty cool upgrade to Super Mario Odyssey. And this was a free upgrade, by the way. This was not a paid upgrade. You didn't have to pay for this. This is one of my son's favorite games. And they added what is it? Game Share. So you can game share the game to a Nintendo Switch 1, and the other person can have their own screen and their own controller. It's pretty cool to see the game in such high resolution. And it just goes to show you how much effort Nintendo actually put into these Nintendo Switch games. That some of them actually do hold up pretty well in high resolution. Alright, let's can't we warp places? It's been a while since I played this game. Let's see. Yes. I should be able to warp back to my ship. Let's go to a different kingdom. Yes. Let's see, what kingdom do I want to go to? The Ruined Kingdom. I felt like the Switch 1 was always just slightly too low resolution for this kingdom. And I don't say that about a lot of games, because a lot of games, it depends on the type of game, whether the game needs to be high resolution or high frame rate. And there are aspects of gameplay that definitely benefit from having higher resolution. And then there's some games where it's just nice and pleasant, and it's not that important. And this is one of those areas that definitely benefits from having that higher resolution. Wow, that looks sick. It looks so weird. Mario looks so out of place here. "3D World" and Bowser's Fury got a big upgrade too. Do 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 do. Is there more of them hiding on his body? Nope. Oh, we got assist mode on? My son must have been playing my file. What about the rocket? Where does that take me? Probably already got everything here. Doesn't seem like there's anything to do here. No, there's not. But it is pretty cool to play it in higher resolution and frame rate. I'm not sure if it's downsampling when you play at 1080p. It probably is. Probably why it looks so crisp. Let me load up Rune Factory, Guardians of Azuma, while I read the comments. Because I am not a woolly. Welcome to the stream, Eddie. I haven't seen you in a minute. We're very limited on Switch 2 options. Audio is great. Nice. It's actually, Danny G, it's actually my JLab Nightfall wireless headset. So that's the microphone I'm using. And it has a mode um, where you can audio monitor yourself in real time. You can turn it off easily too. It's perfect for this kind of scenario. How does Final Fantasy Crisis Core look on Switch 2? Okay, I'll load that up next. Do you think they will make an Odyssey 2? They did make an Odyssey 2, but it's not called Odyssey 2, and it doesn't star Mario, and it's not the same gameplay. It's called Donkey Kong Bonanza is Super Mario Odyssey 2. It is made by the same team that made Super Mario Odyssey. I will probably eventually just do a stream of Guardians of Azuma, but I just want to show off the game's graphics and gameplay real quick. It's not a graphical showcase by any means, but compared to the Switch 1 version, this one runs at a locked 60 frames per second, and it's a pretty cool game. Oh, it's time to rest, so he's going to go to sleep for the night because he did a cool new thing inside this new village that I just got to, so I'm not yet the chief of this village. Let's go to the Spring Dragon Shrine that we don't spoil anything with these later villages for anybody that might potentially play this game. And I will take a nap. Nappy time. So they give you your village report at the end of the day because you're like in charge of the whole village. Sort of like being the mayor in Animal Crossing or whatever. You're in charge of the whole village.
Awake.
What is this? Some kind of dream story? I need to take a soda.
Where am I? This is your only warning. For what?
VR Pro says I'm so excited for that game.
Ridiculous ideas he may have planned.
My wife and son really want to play it. I'm like tempering my expectations, and then I'll just be blown away when I actually play it.
You must stop that Mikoshi.
I'm trying not to be excited for it. I'm like, whatever. That's cool. I did the same thing with Super Mario Odyssey, though. I was like, that'll be cool, and then I got it, and it was amazing. At least, especially the first two playthroughs. The extra Power Moons is kind of a bit much, like the sheer amount of content, and I'm not complaining about that. It's just, like, incredible. But, the core game is pretty darn decent. And that extra stuff is just like icing on the cake. It just does get a little redundant. Kind of why I like 3D World is like the variety of levels.
And he gave you that fan, but he told you to stop the Mikoshi melee? Maybe we should find that Kai guy and have another
Sorry guys, should have muted the mic. Choking on my soda. I shouldn't be drinking soda. Should be drinking water. So I got a fan now? A sacred fan? That's cool. What does that do? Does it make me super fast? It does. It makes me super fast. I'm a ninja. I don't think I could do that before. I mean, I could run before, but not like that. Right? You would run like this. Oh, maybe it's the same. Maybe it's just because I was standing still. No, I think it's definitely something to do with the fan. Oh yeah, he's running way faster. So this is Rune Factory, Guardians of Azuma. It looks like it's a cloudy day. We are not in the Spring Village. This is not the Spring Village. Warp. So you start out in the Spring Village, and you get introduced to this cast of characters, and they're actually kind of funny. It's the most refined Rune Factory game I've ever played, and it's a spin-off, actually. They developed this one for an especially long time, and they didn't want to make the same mistakes that they made with Rune Factory 5, so instead of doing their own engine, they used Unreal Engine, which, I mean, I kind of like it when people do their own engine, but the result speaks for itself. They did a good job here. So there is like gathering and crafting, but there's a big focus on combat in this one and village management, and then like bonding with the villagers. So you can chat with people. It raises your bond with them or affection. And you could do stuff like poke fun, pay a visit to a shrine, give a gift, or grab a bite to eat together. So they're going to go pay a visit to the shrine and pray together. And I just love the way the grass looks in the distance there behind them. It's a simple art style. It's not like the best graphics I've ever seen. But for this kind of JRPG game where these games aren't really known for having high-end graphics, this is pretty impressive. Like for Rune Factory guys, like Rune Factory graphics, like this is cool. Like compared to other stuff, it's probably not that impressive, but I find it very charming. I like the music, it's very relaxing. It's also got cool Switch 2 features. Check this out. So you can just like do the normal Harvest Moon Rune Factory farming thing, or you can bust out the Terra Tiller. You can go into overhead view, and not only can you go into overhead view, you can go into mouse mode. Okay? So I mean, if you thought Harvest Moon was tedious to manage the crops, you can just set villagers to do the gardening for you, and they'll do all of this. I don't have to do this, what I'm doing. Oops. Don't do that. I don't have to do this right now, but I'm choosing to because it's easy and it's fun. Like, look at this. It's almost too easy. It's almost a joke. They're almost, like, aware of how many crops you've raised over the years playing this series. They play the game too, guys. Anyways, I custom built this field using this overhead view mode. And I placed these buildings and built these buildings. So there's custom plots of land, and then there's like the regular plots of land. There's even a blacksmith, so you can forge your own weapons, because you have weapons. And you can equip your party members with weapons too. I'll get to that in a minute. This is the guy who constructs buildings.
Hey.
So you go up to him and he can construct decorations or buildings. And in fact, I have new buildings that I need to construct. I need to construct a new shipping shed.
Stand back and watch me work. Well, turned out great, right?
And I need a saltern.
Stand back and watch me work. What?
And now I'm out.
From bookshelves to castles, I built it all. Okay, stand back and watch me work. This is what you get when I'm on the job. Okay, stand back and
Build some decorations, and we'll go decorate the field, and then we'll go out to one of the dungeons to show you guys what the dungeons look like. You can actually fast travel all over the place too. And I think I'm going the wrong way, but that's okay. We could take a look at the village this way. And this is like, this sprinting thing is cool, but it's a bit much. So I'm gonna chill out on that. We don't need a ninja run around town. We can just regular run. There we go. So I think I might be able to use this fan. Yes! Oh, yeah! I'm finally able to clear this field. I'm so excited, guys. So now I can clear the field, and it's real easy to remove stuff. You just hold the button, and he clears debris. Not like the old Harvest Moon games where it takes a lot of manual labor. You're the village chief, you know, you command it. Oh wait, I did not clear this area. This area still got some curse. Amazing. And so now I can finish cleaning up the field. And I could even level the field if I want to. You see how there's like that hill over there? And I could even rearrange these mounds to however I want them to be if I do want there to be a hill over here. So for example, if I did want there to be a hill over here, I'd probably want it to be smaller. And kind of like this. This looks nice. And then I could put like a little walkway up there. And so now I've got a whole new area that I can develop in town. So I've got 3 different plots of land that I can develop in the Spring Village, put houses on. That's pretty neat. I'm still working on developing this plot of land. So you can see they started working on this, but I need a shipping shed over here. So I built one. We just built it a little while ago, so let's go buildings, shipping shed. So this took me a while to get this live stream going for different reasons. The reasons I talked about earlier in the stream. Let's go to overhead view. How do you lock it into this mode? Wait, is this the shipping shed? This is the shipping shed. This shall go here. Actually, can it go next to this building? It totally can. Why not? And a saltern, which just produces salt. We'll put that right next to the bamboo forest. And then we need some paths. Well, we don't have to have paths, but I want paths, so we shall have paths. Oh no. Alright, now I've got these nice paths. And I've got these nice little garden patty areas. And I can plant some more terrain tiles for growing stuff. Let's do mouse mode. Mouse mode. Mouse mode makes this super fast. Look at that. Honestly, I didn't think I was going to use mouse mode that much with the Switch 2. But when you're laying down or you're actually like sitting down instead of at a desk, you'd think you'd have to be at a desk. I even like optimized some of my desk for it. No, you don't have to be at a desk. The sensor is way better than like... It's kind of pathetic that this little controller has a better sensor for mouse mode than like my actual professional mouses, which they're good mouses, and I get it's apples and oranges, they're completely different things, but like this little Nintendo controller has a way cooler, and it doesn't even light up. Like you can't, you know those mouses, how they always zap you in the eye, like the red thing will get you in the eye? Like you can't even do that here. You can't get yourself in the eye. It's that good.
All right, request accepted.
Okay, that was a lot of building. That was a lot of crafting. I didn't plant anything though, huh? I kind of want to see if the villagers will plant for me. Without me having to plant. Did they? They did not. So I shall plant. So let's go back to mouse mode. Let's get out the turnips. And let's get to planting. I mean, it's really this easy. I mean, you could be more detailed, but I mean, it's that easy, guys. Breaking in that money. And now he's going to go over to this, where is it? The new shipping shed. And we got to ship some stuff to make some money. So I could put this cabbage aside, since it's level 2. Oh, that's right. I'm supposed to use my flame sword to harvest crops, and I didn't do that yet. We'll do that in the other village. What is that? A princely potato. Ultra onion. That's a lot of turnips. What is this thing? Mystery mushroom. Possible to tell if it's safe to eat or not. This guy's doing mystery mushrooms? Jeez. Alright. Anyways, so that's the village, part of the village aspect. We're not going to cover this entire game in this video, but that's part of the village. Then you've got, which I don't have to warp there, I can walk there, but you've got these shrines you can go to, or like dungeons. And then there's like these, not dungeons, but they're like, this is the Highlands, so this is like the, not the open world area, but the like the exploration area. This isn't one of the dungeons, but there's still stuff to accomplish here. For example, I think there might be some blight that I have to cure that I can't get to because it's over here. Oh, that's right. I can get to it if I use the running fan blade, so I should probably warp over there. Let's see. I probably don't have the ability I need yet, but let's try it anyways. Small pond. This is the one. So from here, it is a little confusing. I think it's this way. Yeah. Oh, no, there's no way I can make that jump. I was like, oh, I'll just jump across. No, I don't have that kind of... I'm sure there is more to it than meets the eye, but... Anyways, so you fight these monsters, which were way overpowered for these monsters, because these are early game monsters. And you can invite the villagers that you've bonded with out on adventures with you and equip them with equipment. And they fight alongside you in a real-time combat RPG. This is just such a cool game. The conversations with the characters are actually pretty well written too. And sometimes they're voice acted. And the characters will actually talk to each other while you're exploring the world and like chat with each other. It's a pretty awesome game. There is one more aspect of the game that's pretty interesting. You ride on a dragon. Spoilers a little bit, but it's not that much of spoilers. So there's like a Wind Waker / Skyward Sword aspect to it, where you ride around on this dragon in the sky, and you can go to these islands, and you can dismount and land on each one of these islands, and it looks kind of like that area I was just at. It's like a little mini explorable area. And there's tons of islands across the sky, as well as the different villages that you land upon. And I'm not even sure what else, because I'm not even far enough in the game. So there's a summer village, there's an autumn village, and there's a spring village and a winter village. So you have all the seasons of Rune Factory or Harvest Moon all existing at once, because there's just different villages. It's such a cool spin-off. It's like fan service game. So cool. But here's the summer village. And so I didn't customize this area. This is just the way it is. But this area I did build. So this is my area. And the villagers go in between the villages. So like this guy is from the spring village, but here he is having a good time in the summer village. So when you connect the villages, all of a sudden they start doing stuff like hanging out with each other. You got these little bonding interactions with characters.
Yes?
I love the way the characters look too. They're so detailed. It's like an anime brought to life. It's pretty neat. Anyways, that's a quick look at Rune Factory, Guardians of Azima. Let's do a sword dance before we end it. Oh, I should save too. Oh, actually, I know, I'm addicted to this game. I love this game. I highly recommend this game if you have a Switch 2. Let's see. Fan dance. Is there any more toxicity around here? Nope, I think that was it.
Oh, wonderful to see you.
Hey. see the villagers just harvested a bunch of stuff and they dropped it into my inventory. So you actually assign the villagers to different
Not
posts.
bad.
So this is the village statistics. These are the villagers, and you assign them to different jobs, and the village actually grows based on the amount of houses that you have in it. It's really neat. Alright, I believe we had a request for Crisis Core, so I'm going to load up Crisis Core because somebody wanted to see how that runs on Switch 2. And then I'm going to check the comments, and I think we are going to wrap this live stream up. Take a little break, and don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Ring that notification bell so you know when I'm going to go live again some other time. Another day. Here's what Final Fantasy Crisis Core looks like on Switch 2.
Activating combat mode.
And it looks to me like the resolution, the dynamic scaling resolution, is just not scaling very much. So it's just locking at its peak possibility. Walking around the world still looks kind of awkward, but that's just the nature of this game. The actual gameplay when you're fighting,
Conflict resolved.
or you're not walking through some area that makes him look slow, is pretty good. Oh, he's not slow, I just wasn't running. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Activating combat mode.
Bring it on!
Conflict resolved.
Plus, you've got Final Fantasy VII coming out on the Nintendo Switch later this year. Alright. So yeah, that's how that runs. Thanks again, guys, for joining me today as we talked about the Nintendo Switch 2 and played some video games. I really appreciate everybody stopping by. It was nice to see y'all. Nice to see you, Gamer XD, Eddie. It's smoother than I thought. Not bad. Yeah, it could definitely use a patch. Like, it would be cool if it got official support, you know? Oh, sorry to burp into the mic. I would keep going since there's 6 of you here. I appreciate all of you tuning in. I appreciate all the thumbs up on the video. And I probably should keep going, but I need to take a break. Thanks again for watching Nintendo Sense YouTube channel. Shout out to Ross, Danny G Gaming, everybody else who stopped by, Eddie, Gamer XD. Thanks for saying hi in the chat. I'll see you guys on the flip side. I guess I should take any questions. If you guys have any more questions before I end it, feel free to ask them in the chat. And then we'll be ending it here. But yeah, don't forget to subscribe, you know, so you can see more Nintendo Sense content. You can join our Discord server by clicking on my channel and going to the About page or whatever. There should be a invite there. I think I have a bot active right now. But yeah, I gotta take a break. I'm staring at the monitor from an angle because I'm like laying on my bed and playing instead of sitting at the desk like I'm supposed to. If you're feeling generous, you can always feel free to donate to Nintendo Sense YouTube channel. And we will continue to do awesome stuff like this. Alright, see you guys next time. Peace.